Hello. So this review is about the TFZ King Edition. The Fragrant Zither is what TFC stands for. This is not going to be too long a review. These things are, as you can see, really beautiful. So much so that it makes you want them to sound really awesome, you know? Come on, you can focus. You can do it. There we go. So here's the thing. I listened to these on so I got the FIO FH3 at the same time, and because they're right around the same price. These are $118.55 right now on Amazon, and the FIOs are $129. So within $10 of each other. These are 2-pin. This is the cable. Nothing fancy, but it's a decent cable. It sounds fine and it works really well. It's got a nice little Y split there, and yeah, no, the cable's fine. It's very nice knurled end on it. Yeah, I was very happy with it. No problems at all. Packaging was reasonable. Didn't come with a case. Came with like a bag, right? Which is fine too. I've got plenty of cases. I will say this. The FIO FH3 came with the FIOs, of course, came with a beautiful cable, came with a really nice, looks like waterproof plastic case, hard case, and you'll see that in that review. Came with an inner soft case, came with freaking 5 bags of tips, different types of tips, and in a beautiful package. And it's only $10 more. So these guys definitely could have bumped their game up. At least that's my feeling. So build quality, yeah, excellent. I mean, these are beautiful, no doubt about it. I mean, if you're into looking cool, I mean, or wanting to impress people, I guess. I don't know if they'd even notice these, but these are definitely nice looking. Sorry, we got a new puppy in the house, and she was scratching the door to get in here, or get out of here, so had to break. So these things, back to the build, beautiful build, like I said, really attractive. You got some weight in your hand, obviously metal cases. So no problems with build. Cable's fine. Problem comes to the sound. And certain parts of the sound are okay. Detail on these is freaking fantastic and realistic to a point. And I'll give you an example. So there's a song by Diana Krall from her Live in Paris album, and there's the song's called "A Case of You," and in the beginning of that song, she starts singing, right? Well, you can hear people in the audience, and you can hear this woman, or it sounds like a woman coughing in the audience, and that's very detailed, very clearly audible on these. But there's something else, and that's when Diana starts to sing. Mrs. Krall starts to sing, and you can hear her tongue smacking on the top of her mouth as she's belting out notes. And that's one of those little details that people like me go crazy over, right? I mean, I love to listen just for the enjoyment of listening, but when I'm listening and I'm also hearing all those details, my brain's like gets lit up. So I really like that. These, I mean, I could hear such detail in her voice in those parts that, I mean, it made me want to listen more. Problem was, when she hit a high note, it was like a knife went in my ear, and it didn't sound realistic. Cymbals sounded really good as far as like the detail of them, but they didn't sound realistic to me. It sounded like somebody said, hey, let's crank the treble up, because that's what people like. People want detail, so let's crank that up. The problem is that it's not balanced. So if you've got an IEM, like say the Tequila, which has an EST driver in it, right? An electrostatic, and it has a BA, and it has a dynamic driver, you can get all that detail while not cranking things up, right? Because you've got the right components to deliver those those frequencies and those details and that experience. And I've even heard dynamic drivers that can come close to that, but not as well as, say, something that has, more of a hybrid. So I think they bumped up the treble on this, the upper range, up 4K and above range. I think they did that, and they sacrificed the sound in a lot of other areas. And it bums me out. I mean, this is, like I said, it's a beautiful IEM. They could have added some more accessories like Fio does, and you would have felt a little bit better about it. But if they had just tuned this a little bit, I don't know, a little bit darker, I guess would be it. I think it might have been okay. But the problem was, and that's another issue, is the bass. So you need to have a little bit of volume, or be able to be allowed to turn up the volume enough to kind of feel that bass and get that bass out of most IEMs. Not a lot, but definitely need to turn it up a little. The problem with these is that when you start to turn it up to try and get to that supposedly enhanced bass that they have, you start getting stabbed in the ear by all the highs. And the problem is the highs is, I want to say, from that range, from cymbals, upper range female vocals, up into the beginning of the mid frequencies, mid-range frequencies, in there, what is that? Like 4 to 6K, I guess. I want to say that in there, it's not realistic. It sounds pushed. It sounds like they just, when they were tuning these, they cranked those frequencies up and sacrificed timbre and tonality. It just doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound right at all. It sounds like fake is the best way I can say it. But more than that, those highs are painful. I mean, it is not comfortable listening to these for any extended period of time with any reasonable level of volume. So I think that they had, I mean, with the detail these produced, I don't know if it's just they had a BA that they just cranked it, right? The tuning on it so they could get that detail. And that's what broke all the upper frequencies, like made them so unrealistic and painful to listen to. But I mean, I think they could have just really hit it out of the park if they tuned these down. I think they still could. Maybe they could take these and adjust the tuning on these so that the detail is just a slight bit less and the treble's more realistic, and you don't have those spikes in the upper range that are painful. Anyway, so I think they could have done something better than they did. They have the makings of something great, and yeah, they kind of blew it. So yeah, that's my review. Again, I listened to Diana Krall, I listened to Amanda Martinez, I listened to some Brett Eldridge, I listened to Led Zeppelin, I listened to Portishead. I listened to a really wide range of stuff, and detail was incredible in these. If all you need is detail, then okay, fine, get these. But if you really want realistic, upper frequencies and mid-range, forget it. And they don't really have bass unless you crank it up. And in order to crank it up to get to that bass, you're going to sacrifice your ears for those high frequencies. So it's a problem, right? The Fio has such an amazing package that it comes with for just $10 more. And I can tell you right now, even though you probably haven't seen that review yet, that the Fio sounds far, far better than these do. So anyway, so I hope that helps you with these. Don't be fooled by their beauty. They're a little painful, and they needed to work on their tuning a little bit more. Okay, well, that's the review. You guys take care.